Chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
I'm returning to Clinton Parish, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Parish, we take the pain out of being hurt.
Itchy, squirmy.
Once again, what block we putting
Family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
You see, Head & Shoulders has Scalp Shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. We're never not working. Number 15?
That's my rub.
Ooh, nice.
Never not working.
Never, ever, never, ever not working.
Welcome everybody to Juneau, Alaska.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
Q Time is our classic Atlanta soul food restaurant located in the historic West End. Q Time Soul Food is a family business started by Fred and Christine Crenshaw. Come on in, relax, and sink your chops into our tantalizing, mouth-watering, distinctive soul food with a twist, the Q Time way. 1120 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, or call your order in at 404-758-2881. Do you miss your mama's cooking? Then come on down to Q Time, an Urban Passport member.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door. Tell them I'm hungry.
I'm attorney Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em! It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm. Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. We're never not working. Number 15?
That's my rub.
Ooh, nice.
Never not working.
Never, ever, never, ever not working.
Welcome everybody to Juneau, Alaska.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders scalp shield technology.
Sugar Chateau.
Right, there we go. Hey, welcome to another live edition of the BCSN SportsWrap. Brian Fulford, AD Drew here. Drew, I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you. I mean, America's seen you a lot, Drew. I have seen you very few. What are you doing over there? How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right, my brother. How you doing, man? Trying to get my iPad straight.
Yeah, a little bit of I'm getting my voice back after team camp. You know, it's summer basketball season, so working with the youngers, the youngins, the incoming freshmen. Had a good weekend. Went 3-1. How about this? We lose a game, Drew, by 2 points. First game out first game out of the box on Friday, right? We lose a game by 2, had the ball in our possession at the end of the game, so we had a chance to win. But here's the key stat. Right. Free throws, right? Now, in the summer you usually do things like one free throw counts as 2 points. Yeah, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, 1 for 2, 1 for 3. Usually until the last minute or so, then you play real basketball.
Exactly. We missed 14 free throws. 14. So, and this includes even having one of my quote unquote older players actually end up with he got a little mouthy with the official and got tossed. And I'm sitting there like, I'm talking to him how do you get tossed? Yes. How do you get tossed in the first summer league game of the summer? And I'm like, you're supposed to be the quote unquote leader. You played for me before. You're supposed to be setting the example for all these incoming freshmen. And then you get mouthy because you don't like the call that the official made. And I'm sitting there trying to talk to the ref. I'm like, Mr. Ref, come on. I was about to get him out the game. You didn't have to give him a tech. He was like, yeah, I had to give him a tech, coach. I was like, he didn't cuss at you, did he? So I'm just like, come on now. So what were you going to say?
Well, first of all, having refereed summer basketball at that level, summer camps, play days, and things like that.
Yeah.
We've been known to give out technical fouls in the summertime like candy for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's no paperwork required in the summertime. When you give out a technical foul during the season, there's always some type of paperwork that you have to do. Number one. Number two.
Wait a minute, you got to file paperwork in the summer?
No, not in the summertime. You don't have to file paperwork. In the regular season, you have to file paperwork.
Right.
Number two, you'd rather for me to tee your child up in June than in January, so that he can figure it out.
Right.
So and I'm gonna put this out there: the money that you make in the summertime, you really donating your time, because especially when you compare to what you make in the regular season, you may be making about 15, 20, 25% of what you make in the regular season doing these summer games, and you got to do 5, 6, 7 of them to make the amount that you may make in one regular season game. Yeah, there's very little and low tolerance. Plus, let's be real, Brian. And yes, I'll just get on my soapbox and talk about this generation of athlete. This generation of athlete is spoiled, does not respect authority, and they don't get it. The stuff that they pull on us as coaches, if we would have pulled that, we would have been so far removed from the basketball team, or would have been, as they used to say, run till the coach get tired or run till you throw up, whichever comes first. That's what would have happened back in our day. That you can't do that anymore. And every now and then, you really want to do that just to prove a point, like respect son or respect daughter, whatever gender that you're coaching.
I agree. I won't say it's all kids, because there are still
the parents ain't no better.
I'll say the increase is by about maybe 40% from maybe what it was 30 years ago, maybe even 50%. I don't want to typecast it and say it's all, but yeah, look like this. You're in education, I'm in education. Teachers know our kids are losing respect. Some are losing respect. They're not giving respect. Now, I think with that, they do feel, this is a generation of kids that feel more empowered. That's another thing that we have to remember. They feel more empowered because they have more information. See, think about how we used to have to go searching for information. Nowadays, all the information these kids want, they can get. So with that said, I think they are a little more empowered, but I think they do want to be led. They do want to be loved. They just, obviously we made dumb decisions. They're making dumb decisions. It's all about support, though. Do you have the support at home? Do you as coaches and teachers have the support at home? So, that every coach knows the heart of their kids. Like the kid who made the technical for me, he's a good kid. But yes, at times he can get frustrated. And when he doesn't check his frustration level, he sometimes turns his comments and attention towards the wrong people. In this case, he turned it towards an official. Now, I have to do a better job, and I, as coaches, we have to talk to our kids, because I feel in this day and age, that same mistake that you make on the court, you do in public, maybe coming out of a restaurant or a club, where now you're dealing with other hot-headed teenagers or young adults, and then there's law enforcement involved, and then it becomes a dangerous situation. So that's where we have to sort of help our kids kind of understand that you can't win that moment that moment with an official on the court. That's not how you talk to him to win that moment. It's the same thing that we see in other sports, like in baseball. What I was going to use in baseball is, how you never seen an argument overturned when the manager goes out to argue a call in baseball. It's like you rarely see it get overturned. So I just think it's just one of those things. But back to my weekend, it was a good.
Let me get a last point on this before we transition off of this. This your players. I'm not just gonna single that one out, but do your players play a lot of AAU basketball?
Now let's be clear. What you mean is you mean club basketball. We have to stop coining it as AAU
travel basketball.
Travel. Yes. Well, this particular young man does not, but I have a few kids who do play travel club ball. Yes.
Okay. And every June, I had this problem. When they transitioned back from club basketball back to the structure of high basketball.
Yep.
Close your eyes, everybody. Back to junior high basketball or club basketball, because the structure is not there at that level due to the lack of time commitment. And it's no offense, because I coach club ball, you coach club ball also, but because you don't get the everyday. Coaches meet once, twice a week, and sometimes teams are shuttling people in. You don't even practice with this team. You just play with them on the weekends. It's hard to establish that structure, especially when you're paying $300 to go participate in this tournament, $400 to go participate in a tournament. Coaches want their money's worth. They think that they deserve something because they done paid $300 to enter into this tournament. These kids have paid whatever they had to pay to that club to participate in the tournament, plus the hotels, plus the food and everything like that. I understand the value of it. I understand you want your money's worth, but that still does not give you the right to act ignorant on the court. Not saying that young man acted ignorant, but I'm just talking in general right now. That don't give mommy and daddy the right to be ignorant to the coaches or to the referees on that court. That's why so many referees are walking away from the game. And now I'm gonna get into my story. I actually happened to referee a tournament this weekend.
Okay.
Don't referee as much as I used to anymore, especially after I had ankle surgery last year, so I've been refereeing very few and far between. Still not back to 100%. Maybe probably never will be 100%. So anyway, I had a scorekeeper wanted to argue with me over a rule. I'm paid to know the rules. That's why I'm on the court. You can get mad whether I called the foul, whether I did. You thought he traveled, I didn't call it, whatever. That's a judgment call. You have the right to state your opinion respectfully about a judgment call. But don't argue with me about a rule. That's why they pay me. I know that rule book. I know 3 rule books, 4 rule books. I have to know the collegiate rule book, the high school rule book, and every other little league that I referee in. So, here's the play. Alternating possession. We had one team with the ball. I don't remember which team. I would just say the team in white. We had the team in white with the ball. Me and the referee on the court had the team in white with the ball. And this is just after we got into the debate about at halftime. The referee always go tell you flip the arrow. You flip the arrow, but the possession actually stays with the same team. You just flip the direction of the arrow. So if it was White's ball at going into halftime, it's still White's ball coming out of halftime. It's just the direction that White is going has changed. That's why you flip the arrow on the table, but the book stays the same. Everything else stays the same. Okay. We had this discussion about 5 minutes before that the possession stays the same with the team. It does not change because of halftime. It's still that other team's ball. So first alternating possession. So halftime, that team gets it. So first alternating possession of the quarter of the half, we have an issue. He swears up and down, I gave it to the wrong team. Bryan, I may have given it to the wrong team, but me and the other referee had the same thing. But the ball was already in. Here's the thing: the ball was already in play. Once he said that we already had to give the ball to the wrong team. The rule is at that point, because we have already put the ball in play. This person is taking 2-3 dribbles up the court. I cannot take that ball away from them. You can't correct that. He decided he wanted to argue with me from the table quickly.
The scorekeeper.
The scorekeeper. Quickly.
Whose job is to keep the score.
Keep the score. Now, if he'd caught me on the sideline, before I inbounded the ball, we could have corrected it if it was wrong. Once that ball is came in, 2-3 dribbles down, I can't correct it, even if I'm 100% wrong. Can't fix it at that point. That's the rule. Look at any rule book, any level. That is the rule. I'm not supposed to argue with you over something I know. Coach, I need a new scorekeeper. And then, of course, he decides he wants to cuss me out on the way out of the door.
Of course.
Then after about 3 games later, he snuck back in there, and he wanted to cuss me out again.
Wow!
Guess what?
You got to call the police for trespassing.
Well, the tournament, the site director was there. She handled it appropriately, but now I'm changing out my basketball officials uniform into street clothes. So I'm like, bro, I'm not the one you want to mess with. Trust me, I'm not the one you want to mess with. So he started talking all this stuff, talking about beat him in the parking lot, all that stuff. I'm like, go ahead, beat yourself in the parking lot. I ain't got time for it.
Too old for this.
Yeah, I was like, and then I hit him with the line and made everybody look. I was like, bro, I get more than this check. I get another check too, and I ain't took my medicine in a couple of days. You don't want to mess with me. And mess was not the word that I used.
Unbelievable, folks. I hope you're having a good summer weekend. I'm telling you what, our first summer weekend,
and you took me down the road that I did not want to go down.
Ridiculousness ensuing in our first weekend away from school, but gotta love it. Shout out to Tamara T, Karen Griffin, Will Mayer, Marceline on YouTube. Anybody else watching us on Facebook? Shout out to you guys. If you're watching us, make sure to hit the thumbs up button wherever you are, YouTube, Facebook. You might even be watching us on YouTube. We appreciate you. Make sure you're subscribed to the Black College Sports Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at MyBCSN1, the number 1. Go download the Jericho Broadcast Network's app on the Google Apple Play Store, MyJBN, MyBCSN. So after that very long opening there talking about basketball in our opening weekend, the spring sports season kind of came to a close this past weekend. Baseball came to an end for the MEAC and the SWAC champions. Coppin State, the MEAC champs, were in the East Carolina Regional. having to take on a pair of Carolina schools. Didn't fare too well on day one against ECU. The host school lost 17-1. But game two, which was out of the losers bracket, they actually, held up, looked pretty decent. At one point had a 2-1 lead after 2 innings against Coastal Carolina. And if it maybe had not been for giving up 3 runs in the 4th, another 3 in the 7th, actually there were 5 consecutive innings where Coppin State gave up some runs to Coastal, including, I think, a pair of home runs to Coastal Carolina. But then Coppin, trailing by a score of 10-2 going into the 9th inning, put up 6 runs in the top of the 9th inning, including, it looks like, a pair of home runs by Brian Nicholas, Josh Hankins. Coppin, this was their first ever trip to the regionals. A young squad, Drew. By all measures, a lot of freshmen and sophomores, if I'm not mistaken, on this roster. So this is a young baseball squad that has to feel good about how they finished. You had a chance to see Coppin. You had a chance to see him in the MEAC finals or in the MEAC tournament. How would you rate Coppin's performance, or how did they fare, in your opinion, in the ECU regionals?
Scrappy. They are a scrappy team. Nothing seemed to get this team down. Only got to watch it for those 2 games that I was there, the championship game and the IF game. And even in the IF game, the championship game versus Delaware State, even though they trailed the entire game, you could see them fighting, trying to stay in the game, positive attitude, everything else. In the IF game, they trailed in the IF game after 7 innings, if I remember correctly. Yes, I believe they trailed after 7 innings, and then they just opened up a can in the last 2 innings to finally win that game 18-12. Of course, the lack of pitching by both teams didn't help in that particular game, but the fact that they stayed attentive, they were ready, and then when they had the opportunity, they put their foot on Delaware State's neck. Seemed like they tried to do the same thing in this game versus was it East Carolina, the one that they came back on?
Yeah,
the second day 2.
Day 2 against Coastal Carolina. It was
one of those Carolinas. That did not surprise me that they made that comeback against them, because I watched it in the MEAC tournament. So,
right. Head coach Sherman Reed did a great job with this group. He's been at Coppin for, I think this was his 12th or 13th season. They've only got 3 seniors. Now, these are seniors. I don't know if these are COVID seniors or not, but they've only got 3 listed on their roster, which I'm taking a look at. And then they've got a few, then the next group, you got a bunch of redshirt juniors, redshirt sophomores, some true sophomores, and almost probably at least nearly a dozen freshmen.
Buyer beware on those freshmen. Because are these COVID freshmen? Are these you got 3 levels of freshmen. You got true freshmen, COVID freshmen, and redshirt freshmen.
Well, yeah, I don't know how they're designating that, because if you're a freshman, you technically, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that.
Because a lot of these kids, obviously 2020, they got 2020 back.
Yeah. But if you're a freshman coming in,
depending on the number,
you're done.
Depending on the number of games. Depending on the number of games you played in 2021, right? That's why I say, are you a true freshman, which is a 2022? Are you considered a redshirt freshman, or you
Yeah, but
consider
aren't
a
you listing?
COVID freshman.
Aren't you listing? You're listing on the website based on your hours, right?
No, no, because
your hours on the
there are
yard.
a lot. There are a lot of people who are freshmen on the court and juniors in the classroom because of COVID, and that's at multiple institutions.
All right. Well, I don't know. Maybe you know what? That's a great discussion. I'm going to bring this up to the HBCU Pro Sports Media. We need to put in a request to the athletic directors to create a uniform standard and request that for the 22-23 season that all athletic departments please designate whether this is a true freshman, redshirt freshman, or
Or
COVID
C freshman.
whatever
Well,
grade.
they'll
Yeah,
be sophomore by that time, but yes, we got you.
put a
Sophomore, juniors, and
C
seniors.
dash C dash junior or C dash redshirt junior. I don't care, but somehow there needs to be. We need to
CR.
have a CR, whatever. We need to have a designated almost like a scarlet letter. I hate to say it that way, but we need to put a C so we know who the COVID kids are. So we know, so that as we're guessing eligibility,
We're gonna be dealing with this till 25.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. I'm bringing this up so any of our fellow HBCU Pro Sports Media Association folks out there, I would like to make a motion at the next meeting that we adopt a that we adopt a resolution that we adopt a uniform standard for these COVID seniors or COVID classifications. Alabama State in the SWAC. So let me go back. Coppin State finished 24-30. Alabama State finished with 2 losses, finished their regular 34-25 in the Knoxville Regional. They went up against Tennessee, the number 1 team in the country. Actually, look, 10-0. I mean, losing 10-0. I don't think they really got ran out of the building. When you go back and look at the box score against Tennessee, true enough, they did not score. But outside of the 6th inning, in which they gave up 5 runs to Tennessee, that was the only multi-run inning. They gave up 15 hits. So I thought Alabama State fared and represented themselves as well as can be expected against a tough Tennessee squad. I thought they might have a shot against Georgia Tech. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. They lost 13-4 to Tech. They did have an early 2-1 lead, which they carried into the top of the 3rd inning, and that's when Georgia Tech and their bats kind of got hot. So Alabama State season comes to an end, but I thought they represented themselves as well as can be expected. Your thoughts on Alabama State and their finish?
I mean, number 1 team in the nation, and then you played another top 20 team in the nation, if I do remember correctly, in Georgia Tech, and top 25 team in the nation. What do you expect out of them? Hats off to Coach Vasquez and the Alabama State Hornets for getting there, representing, not being embarrassed, and that's what it's all about with both Coppin and Alabama State, getting to the next level and not being embarrassed. Not setting records for the largest margin of defeat or something along those lines. Most home runs get. No, none of that happened. They just came, they competed, and lost to a better team. What more do you expect?
Exactly. Didn't get run off the diamond, so to speak. Now, just to clarify, we didn't have any schools competing in the Division II baseball playoffs. So that pretty much
Spring Hill was the SIAC champion, so there were no HBCUs.
No HBCUs. So that pretty much ends.
That's why we created the Tyson Foods Black College World Series. Oh, sure. I'm sorry. Yep. I wasn't supposed to say that.
What do you mean? I'm supposed to say
I
what?
was taking a shot. I was taking a shot at the NCAA because we didn't have any HBCUs. That's why we created the Tyson Foods Black College World Series.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. You had me worried. I'm like, oh, what I missed? What I missed? Thought I missed something there.
No.
Over into the softball world, though. Obviously, we're familiar. Our softball team, I should say, the Division I softball teams did not fare very well. But on the Division II level,
Not
nope,
yet.
not
Not
yet.
yet. Not yet.
That's all right. We'll get there. We'll get there. We keep flashing it. We'll tell you about our final division. We'll tell you about our final Division I rankings for softball here in just a moment. A little teaser there. And Division II, Claflin. Claflin out of the CIAA, correct? Hope I got that right.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Sometimes I have to, you know things, but you don't know because you don't really say it a lot. I'm just going through my head. Anyway,
I mean,
uh,
when have we ever mentioned Claflin on our show?
very rarely, but now we are because the Claflin Lady Panthers got a win in
2
the
wins.
Division II Atlantic Region tournament with a 3-2 win over the number 3 ranked Bloomsburg Huskies. The Lady Panthers overcame some inclement weather, 3 extra innings to secure their first regional tournament win in school history. And so that was a big win. And so the Panthers had improved at that point to 22-14 and had definitely made history in that moment. And then had a chance. Then had to take on the number 6 Shippensburg Raiders the next morning. And unfortunately, they lost that competition, lost that contest. I think 3-0, was it?
You missed one though, Brian. They picked up 2
I
wins in the
didn't.
tournament.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
They picked up. Okay, my bad. I jumped
Yeah.
a game.
Yeah, they defeated Shippensburg.
Okay, so where am I?
5-2.
Okay, so you posted this
They
story. So
actually
you
made it
did
to the
this.
regional finals. They
Thank you.
they
Okay.
should those should be in order. They made it to the regional finals
See, that's what I
before they
didn't do.
lost.
Okay.
Right, having to obviously win 2 coming out of the losers bracket and were unable to win the first game to force the second game. But
Gotcha.
Clafton's run to the regional finals, I believe that may be the deepest run. That's the deepest run in my memory for a Division II team in softball. You know, a few years ago, I know Tuskegee picked up a win in the regionals, and I think this may be the first time that a HBCU has picked up a win in the regionals since Tuskegee. I believe that was either 2014 or 2015 when Tuskegee picked up that win.
Okay. And I guess they did end up losing in the end, as you mentioned, to Seton Hill, not Seton Hall, Seton Hill, 11-0. Yes. They finished with a 23-15 record overall. So, congratulations to Claflin. Historic run, reached the championship game of the Division II Atlantic Region Tournament for the first time in school history. Set a school record for NCAA tournament victories, going 2-2?
2-2, yes.
2-2, yeah. So now, I don't know if I'm going to do see how quickly this takes me. I was going to do a quick little glance to see how this roster shakes out in terms of, their classification, in terms of what this class looks like. How many seniors are on this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seniors. But again, asterisk, because we don't know how many of these are COVID seniors or not. So congratulations, Coach Jose Gonzalez and the ladies of Claflin for what they did. All right, Drew, before we go to the break, let's give our softball end of the season final rankings, top 5 rankings, just softball. So our producer if she can queue up our graphics for softball only, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll release the baseball. So fingers crossed, and we'll see what we got here.
Those are the yellow graphics, Madam Producer.
Division One in softball. We have. I will go ahead and read them while I wait. I'll go ahead and read them.
There we go.
We got them? Okay, because I had moved off of
it
for
got
a
it.
second.
It's
All
on
right.
the board.
For 5-1, Bethune-Cookman, number 5. Number 4, Prairie View A&M. You know, what an amazing season for Prairie View, winning the SWAC, coming all the way, starting their season 0-19. Wow. And to do what they did, finishing, 20-9 down the stretch, 20-10. So congratulations to Prairie View. Texas Southern finishes 3rd. You can see their record. Morgan State finishes number 2, 31-15 by percentage. Maybe had a better win-loss percentage. But number 1 goes to the champs, the MEAC champions, Howard, who made history this year. I believe it was Howard's first softball title with a record of 31-24. So congratulations to the Howard Lady Bison.
Any beef with the computers on? Any beef with the computers on Division One, Brian?
Me? No beef from me. No beef from me. No, right. I'll never argue with a computer. Never. All right. Doesn't make sense. Division 2 softball. Number 5, we've got Benedict coming in at number 5, record of 29-19. Number 4 is Virginia State, 20-13. Jumping well ahead with the most wins, Albany State, 35-9. Most wins of the year.
They had more wins than anyone on any level when it comes to softball.
Yeah. But as these things are, you got to win your tournament. Yeah, got to win your tournament. Yeah. And so Claflin, of course, as you can see, finished up number 2 overall, 23-15. Even though they had the deepest run, but Tuskegee, probably based on strength of schedule, squeezes by Claflin by just a few points. And Tuskegee ends up as our number 1 team. I got to imagine, Drew, had Claflin won that regional, they probably would have finished number 1. I'm just guessing.
You were probably correct. But the 2 wins in the regional is what vaulted, because Claflin, I believe, was number 3 going into the last poll before the last ranking before we did the final. So those 2 wins, the conference win along with the wins in the regionals, allow Claflin to really jump up there.
Right. Okay, moving over to the NAIA level in softball, top 5 rankings. At number 5, we had Jarvis Christian with a 19-26 overall record. Number 4 was Talladega, 12-29 out of the Southern States. Xavier came in at number 3 from the Red River. Houston Tillotson, 20-23, and then finishing number 1 overall in the NAIA. And wow, they are really going to be a powerful spring team, not only softball, but baseball. I can't wait to see what Edward Waters is like in the SIAC. But number 1, Edward Waters, 32-11 overall. Can
you imagine the SIAC next year with Tuskegee? Got to include Spring Hill, even though they're not an HBCU. Albany, Benedict, and Edward Waters. Wow.
Yeah, SIAC softball is going to be really, really tough. That's going to be a good division to pay attention to. next year. So we'll have to definitely get on that and make sure that coverage looks good, and make sure to give these ladies. So again, congratulations to our BCSN champions, Edward Waters in the NAIA level, Howard at the Division I level, Tuskegee at the Division II level. Let's take a break and come back in a couple minutes with a final rankings from the from baseball and a few other news and notes from baseball, and then we'll kind of hit a few other topics as well. You're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap with Bryan and AD. We'll be back in just a moment.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
Q Time is our classic Atlanta soul food restaurant located in the historic West End. Q Time Soul Food is a family business started by Fred and Christine Crenshaw. Come on in, relax, and sink your chops into our tantalizing, mouth-watering, distinctive soul food with a twist, the Q Time way. 1120 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, or call your order in at 404-758-2881. Do you miss your mama's cooking? Then come on down to Q Time, an Urban Passport member.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell them mama hungry.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap. Bryan and AD here. I always love hearing that commercial during our shows. Drew reminded me how hungry I am. The fact that I didn't eat dinner prior to doing our show, so nothing like seeing a good Mangoes commercial before we get ready to come back on. And my stomach is like, I'm barely hungry. Anyway. Hey, shout out to everybody watching us on Facebook and YouTube. Appreciate you watching. Hit the thumbs up button.
Shout out to Brian Simpkins, who joined us on Facebook.
Okay.
HBCU Pro Sports Media member.
Yes, sir. As we finish up the spring season, we're looking at some baseball stuff. Black College Nines, their top 10 final poll. Now these are polls, not, this are humans are actually ranking these for the most part, with the exception of the small school division, which awards number one goes to the winner of the Black College World Series. And so, of course, number one in the poll is Edward Waters University. Kentucky State finishes 2. Of course, they, were the runner-up this past year. Now, here's where the pollsters probably get involved. Number 3 was Albany State. Number 4, Savannah State. Savannah State, who had a very good season, but we didn't see them in Birmingham.
Not yet.
No, we're just kind of reading off something else here. West Virginia State is 5, Florida Memorial 6, Miles College 7, Russ College 8, Payne 9, Bluefield State 10. Any thoughts on that? The top 10 poll, is that kind of how you voted? Because you and I are both pollsters, so we'll be transparent about that. Is that kind of how you saw it?
Drew? I'm trying to remember. It's been about 3 weeks or so since I voted in that poll.
Or let me just ask this: maybe instead of trying to think, did you give any more credit to the teams that played in the World Series versus the teams that didn't?
The poll for Black College Nines is similar to what I did. I do not. Let's see. Yeah, I had these same 10 in. I believe I had them in a different order, though. I do not have a copy of my poll, my last poll submission. But I had those 10 in. I believe I may have actually had Memorial ahead of West Virginia State.
I think I did too.
The same thing with Miles. I believe I may have had them up there. Yeah,
I probably went. If I'm trying to recall, I think I went top 4 because Florida Memorial and Miles were in the semifinals.
Correct.
Or I guess we could say they were in the finals of the Division 2 and the NAIA championships. So I think I gave them credit for that and probably ranked them 3rd and 4th. And then after that, probably went Albany State and then Savannah State, if I'm trying to recall how I did it. So, yeah. Okay. Any final thoughts on the small school division from Black College Nines, or any other thoughts?
Let's compare it to the computers. And now theirs is Black College Nines is ran together as one, whereas our computers have 2 separate polls.
Okay, so let's take a look at our Division II men baseball. This is the BCSN Top 5 Division II poll rankings, computer rankings.
There we go.
That one right there, which includes number 5, West Virginia State out of the Mountain East. Then you get a collection of SIAC schools where you have Miles at number 4. Savannah State comes in with 34 wins at number 3. Kentucky State finishes 2nd. And then Albany State finishes number 1 in Division 2. So it was pretty close there between Kentucky State and Savannah State, as you can see, but everything else was kind of how it went. And then let's go over to NAIA because, again, our NAIA, we separate the top 5 rankings for the NAIA and Division II in comparison to Black College Nines, which brings those 2 divisions together. And as you can see, number 5, Talladega, 4, Payne College, 3 was Rust. Florida Memorial ends up as 2. And then clearly it's Edward Waters, number 1 in the top 5. So in essence, Drew, in the NAIA level, Edward Waters finishes at the top of our top 5 rankings as our Black College National Champs and NAIA for baseball and softball.
Let's talk about those Diamond Sports down in Jacksonville, Florida. And actually, when you go back and look at it, the Black College 9 and the BCSN Computers had those 5 in the NAIA division in the same order. The difference is Black College 9s had some Division 2s mixed in between them, but the NAIAs were essentially in the same order.
Yeah. Let me kind of steer left for just a moment, because I know a lot of people, as you know, they embraced the Black College World Series, the Tyson Foods Black College World Series for the NAIA in Division II. A lot of people were asking about softball. And so what are some of the challenges you think with trying to execute something similar for softball?
Well, first of all, I will say, and you heard it here on the BCSN SportsWrap first, but it is on the table for softball, maybe as early as 23, realistically in 24.
Okay.
One of the biggest challenges with softball will be the fact that because of the timing, because this event has to run essentially concurrent to the Tyson Foods Black College World Series, because these presidents and athletic directors will not keep these people on campus for an extra week in order to let one tournament finish and the other one begin. So these tournaments have to run concurrent. Now, what the challenge with that is, do you host them both in the same city and get all your HBCU Diamond Sports fans in the same city? Does that city have the hotel space to add 4, 6, or 8 teams, depending on the size of the tournament, in addition to the other 8 teams that are there with the Tyson Foods Black College World Series, and obviously the manpower that it would take to run 2 concurrent tournaments? That's one challenge. Obviously, the biggest challenge is funding, making sure that you have enough funding available to do it. Now, you can save on funding by having them both in the same city, or it costs a little bit more to have them in 2 separate cities, because that's 2 totally separate crews of people that you have to have, from your tournament director, your scorekeepers. Everybody has to be totally separate. There is no sharing of people, camera crews, or the whole 9 yards, logistically speaking. So that's. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, wouldn't you have 2 crews anyway, even if it were per se in the same city, because of the times? You almost would. I mean, it'd be hard to run one crew at your baseball park and then take a same crew and move them over to softball. So regardless of whether.
Yeah, you would, but some of the logistical things would be like, for instance, hotels. Somebody has to coordinate all the stuff with the hotels. One person could handle that for both tournaments. Meals.
Sure.
Instead of having a contract with, you could contract with meals to coordinate the meals between the teams. Softball runs a little bit faster than baseball. So those crews, you may do baseball day 1 for a long day, and then day 2, that crew that did baseball goes over to softball, because in theory they'll get finished with softball faster than they will with baseball. So we spent some 14, 16-hour days at that ballpark, Brian. Whereas you could play 4 softball games in about 10 hours. So that would be a benefit to the crews, where the crews would not be as tired, as you can switch them back and forth. Simple things like that if they're in the same city. So those are some of the challenges that are out there for trying to host this, and trying to come up with how is it going to be done. The formula is set. The plan is there. It's just dealing with these little logistical things that that have been in discussion. And here's the other thing. Would it be a true? It would not be a true World Series though, Brian, because the SIAC champion and the CIAA champion would not be able to compete in this tournament due to regional obligations. So, do you still call it the World Series? Do you title it something else? It's great to have this postseason tournament, but could it truly be for a national championship when you've got two conference champions who cannot participate?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and then how do you market it if the two conference champions cannot participate? Do you just call them the World Series champion? But then you still could have a separate national champion. You know that's something that has to be creatively marketed. And then will the teams participate at that level because it's not a true national champion? It's the same debate that I have though with the Celebration Bowl. The Celebration Bowl it's a bowl game to me. It is not the bowl game. It is not the Black College National Championship. Now, it has determined the Black College National Champion in the past, but it cannot be the Black College National Championship game because currently there are 3 institutions who are unable to participate. And if one of those teams make a run in the FCS playoffs, me as a pollster, if they make a deep run in the FCS playoffs, I'm going to give them serious consideration for the HBCU national champion. It's going to be that same debate when it comes to this softball. So just figuring out how you want to deal with some of those type issues are the things that we see as executive committee members.
It sure would be nice if you were able to convince the NCAA to allow you to do something in, say, I don't know, June, where you could almost
the NCAA would not be a problem. Who's going to keep those kids around? Who's going to keep those kids around on campus practicing until then? That's going to be your issue. How are you going to finance this with these institutions? There's nobody on campus except for those athletes. Those athletic directors don't mind keeping them around for one day after the tournament, maybe a day and a half after the tournament. They're not going to keep them around 4 days after the tournament in order to participate in this event. That's one reason why during this Black College World Series, and I'm going with some insight. So that's why we gave those teams allowed those teams to report on Monday, even though the tournament didn't begin until Wednesday.
Right.
Was because of that.
Well,
now some teams chose to come in on Tuesday, and that was their preference. But we allowed the teams to report on Monday, which was a day,
I would imagine
after the
I
tournament.
think you could do something. I would like to think you could do something similar and maybe get these ADs who we're just tossing out there and making a blanket statement about. If the money's right, and that's the thing. I think money talks, and if you're able to sort of do it in a way where, maybe you're able to cover their expenses, maybe you get these teams. I don't know. Like you said, it is logistical.
That's going to be sponsors having to come up with extra coin, and I'm not saying it can't be done. But right now,
that's why I said the challenges. Oh yeah, there's plenty of challenges that have to be figured out in that whole process. Let me go through very quickly the Black College Nines top 10 poll for the large school division, and then go through our BCSN top 5 for Division 1. So the pollsters, people like AD and I, in the large school division, voted Alabama State, the Black College baseball national champions according to Black College Nines. Number 2, a little controversially, but I was happy to see it. Florida A&M came in at number 2, ahead of Southern, number 3. And I know there were some Southern folks that were in their feelings about that, because they'll look at it and say, well, we beat FAMU 2 of 3 times over the weekend, and we finished second in the SWAC. Southern won the West. Won the West, but I think what the pollsters are saying, possibly, is that the East Division of the SWAC was better than the West Division. Now, I'll be transparent. I voted Southern too, because they finished runner-up and they did win the West. I went against the grain and didn't pick, so don't call me a homer. I picked FAMU 3 out of the SWAC. So I'm not going to ask you how you voted unless you wanted to share, Drew, but what are your thoughts?
I actually believe I voted FAMU too. I really do believe
Really?
that.
Okay, so you're one of those guys. Why did you vote FAMU 2 over Southern? What was it that you saw? Huh?
Strength of schedule.
Okay.
Number one, strength of schedule, better competition in the East. Non-conference record. FAMU had a better non-conference record than Southern. So those are the top 3 reasons why I lean more towards FAMU.
Okay. Like I said, in the end, people will have their different validations for it, and I always say, as long as a pollster you can stand by what you voted on, well, so be it. Number 4 was Coppin State, the MEAC champions. Number 5 was Texas Southern. That was a little surprising, I'll be honest, given how they performed in the SWAC tournament.
Well, Texas Southern didn't get any respect from me on my poll because of their non-conference schedule, and neither did Jackson State.
Yeah. Delaware State finished 6. Prairie View finished 7. Bethune 8. Bethune was number 4 for me.
That's a shocker.
8.
I don't think Bethune should be that low.
Right. Bethune finished 8, but it is what it is. Jackson State 9, Grambling State 10. Okay, let's take a look at the BCSN top 5 final rankings. These are computer-based rankings. What the metrics say, what the computers say about the data. The data says that the number 1 team, of course, was Alabama State. 34-24, finishing with 197 points. In fact, the top 5 teams in Division I were all from the SWAC. Number 2 was Southern. Number 3 was Florida A&M. Number 4 was Bethune. And number 5 was Grambling. I think that's almost kind of how, at least that's how my top 4 was when I voted in the Black College Nines poll. But that's that's the top 5 right there. So, yeah. What's your takeaways on the top 5?
No MEAC. That's my takeaway. The biggest thing was no MEAC. You thought maybe the MEAC champion would have snuck in at number 5, but they didn't. And since I saw the full list, Coppin State was number 6.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe Delaware State was number 8.
Okay. I wanted to move forward a couple other baseball notes before we head to a break here at the top of the hour. How about Shamar Page, the SWAC Pitcher of the Year? was named a collegiate baseball All-American. I'm reading out of Black College Nines from Michael Coker's post from a couple days ago. Collegiate baseball had their NCAA Division I All-American baseball teams and Natural Players of the Year. Grambling State pitcher Shamar Page was named to the All-American second team. Page was also a Black College Nines elite second team large school selection. He ranked second in the nation in strikeouts with 143. He led the SWAC, where opponents only hit 193 off of him, posted a 2.60 ERA average, had a record of 8-5. Of course, Page was named National Co-Pitchers of the Week for his no-hit perfect game back during the season against Alcorn State in a 16-0 victory. He was the 31st pitcher since 1959 to throw a perfect game in Division I college baseball, and the first to do it since 2019 when a young man from East Carolina did that. So I think in that particular game, Page had a career-high 13 strikeouts. Really, he did it it was a 7-inning game, too. So, he didn't have to go a full 9 innings. He did it in 7, which was, because of the run rule. That's how it is in college baseball. So, congrats to Shamar Page on that recognition. Let's take a break because I wanted to come back and we'll get into talk a little bit a little more baseball, but I think on the other side we got to make sure we properly mention the NCAA Track and Field Nationals are happening this weekend in Eugene, Oregon. A host, about a dozen or so HBCU athletes are participating. Primarily, the largest contingent, of course, is from North Carolina A&T, but there are a few other schools represented, so we'll kind of go through some of those names and schools on the other side of the break. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan and AD here. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm returning to Clinton, Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm. Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. We're never not working. Number 15?
That's my rub.
Ooh, nice.
Never not working.
Never, ever, never, ever not working.
Welcome everybody to Juneau, Alaska.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders scalp shield technology.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
Q Time is our classic Atlanta soul food restaurant located in the historic West End. Q Time Soul Food is a family business started by Fred and Christine Crenshaw. Come on in, relax, and sink your chops into our tantalizing, mouth-watering, distinctive soul food with a twist, the Q Time way. 1120 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, or call your order in at 404-758-2881. Do you miss your mama's cooking? Then come on down to Q Time, an Urban Passport member.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan and AD here. And want to thank you guys for watching, tuning in, listening, however you're doing it. Want to encourage you, if you're listening to the show via the BCSN Pod Zone, make sure whatever platform you're listening to us on, and the Pod Zone, of course, is everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, Anchor, iHeartRadio. Just go search BCSN Pod Zone. You can find us everywhere you download and listen to podcasts. And do me a favor. If you get a chance, go ahead and give us a ratings. There's a lot of shows that we run on the Pod Zone, just not only our show, Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, the O&G Strike Zone. We'll have episodes sometime from the pregame show, Carlos Brown's show, which comes on every Saturdays there. Brave Talk with our good friend Charles Edmonds. Sometimes we'll have his shows there as well. So, and there will be more. New podcasts are coming in the 22-23 season. So, be looking out for that. Okay, Drew. I know you did the minority baseball prospects all-star game, but before we kind of follow me here with the transition I'm going to do here. One of the big announcements that came out, obviously, let's see, we did a show. When's the last time we did a show? It was like the 20.
We did one 2 weeks ago. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So
Monday before Memorial Day.
Right. Okay. So right about that time was when we heard that we got the news that Coach Reginald Hollins of Tuskegee baseball, had decided to resign at the end of June from his position as Tuskegee's baseball coach. And just announced yesterday that Coach Hollins is now the president and COO of Minority Baseball Prospects, with Alex Weich, who is the founder and CEO. Alex has been one of the faces that many people have seen, but now you got Coach Hollins. So I come to you, Drew, and I ask you your thoughts on Coach Hollins leaving Tuskegee, and then what do you think he brings to what Minority Baseball Prospects has been doing for minority youth in baseball, and then of course with the HBCU All-Star Game?
I would need to put this story into full perspective before I give my opinion. Also, about that same time that Reggie announced that he was stepping down from Tuskegee University, Alex Weich also announced that he was stepping down as head baseball coach at Redan High School in Atlanta. And Redan is a Black high school and one of the top baseball programs in the state of Georgia, with Coach Weich having led Redan to the finals, to the if game in the finals just less than 2 weeks ago for
Oh
Redan High
wow,
School.
okay, nice.
So, so now let's put this in perspective. The top two people in MVP minority baseball prospects are walking away from their coaching jobs to focus on this full time. Now, we've seen what they have been able to do with MVP part time. Now, just think of everything they've done, all the athletes that they've worked with, all the camps that they have run. Now, with them being able to focus on MVP on a full time basis, I am really thinking that this. Let me say that again. I know that MVP will be going to a new level, whereas MVP will be talked about like IMG is in basketball. That's my perspective. That's where this organization is on the track to doing. It's going to be the IMG for Black youth in baseball.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, IMG has that educational component to their schools. I mean, obviously you spent some time with those guys. I mean, are you hinting at something? Are you predicting
No,
something? What are you doing?
I'm just talking
Okay.
about on the athletic portion of it. That IMG mask as a school. You and I both know, but
Right, exactly.
but as far as the training and everything else that goes along with institutions such as that, that's where this organization is going.
Well, hey, congrats and shout out to Alex, Coach Weich, and Coach Hollins. I mean that's a nice 1-2 combo that I think will do wonders, and they are so well connected with other youth minority programs, especially with programs like the MVP and others. Hopefully they can continue to grow at the level where like I don't know where some of their alumni are. Maybe I'm sure there are players who are coming up that will eventually start making their way onto college and MLB rosters, and so I think that's where the program will really grow. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of watch and follow. So, with that transition, obviously the second annual HBCU All-Star Game took place this past Friday in Truist Park, which I thought, that's the home of the Braves. Obviously, that the organization's based out of Atlanta. Atlanta's sort of the super hub. Let's see, last year they did it at Hoover when
yes, the Hoover Met.
The first year, yeah, the Hoover Met, and so this year a big time upgrade to the home of the world champions. What was your overall take from the weekend?
First time at Truist Park, first of all. And you're talking about a tremendous facility. Just before you even get to where we were at, just walking through the corridors and seeing all the Hank Aaron and the Eddie Matthews and the Phil Decro and the Dale Murphys and the all the other historical players from the Braves, through all three cities. A lot of people don't know that the Braves have been in three cities: Boston to Milwaukee to Atlanta, and you saw artifacts representing all three cities of Braves history. That was number one. Number two, and I wish I would have sent it to you, Brian, the vendors section. OMG.
I
It
heard you
was
talk about
like,
this.
yes, and I've got to send you the video that I took there, and there were probably at least 50 vendors, probably closer to 75 vendors set up in the corridors of Truist Park. You know how when you go on the homecoming, Brian, and you know how you have to park and walk, seem like you got to walk a mile to get to the stadium because there's no parking
Yeah,
close, and
right.
you walk by everybody and their mama selling something. That's what Truist Park was like, except it was a lot more confined area. T-shirts, hats, smell goods, per, personal items, insurance salesmen, financial advisors, you name it. There was somebody there who looked like you, who looked like me, who looked like my wife, looked like my daughter, my son, selling it. Just think about that.
Okay.
And I said that there were that many black people who have a product to market who were doing it there. And
Yeah.
although you had a t-shirt on your table and I was 40 feet from you with a t-shirt on my table, I was not competing against you with price.
Hmm.
Like, yours may have been $5 more, but you weren't competing against me because you had
Right.
your product niche, I had my product niche. And then while I'm walking through the vendor section, here comes a band, a high school band just playing the drum line from a high school band.
Okay.
Just walking, you know how the band walks into the stadium on a football game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this
Yeah.
high school band did. That's exactly what
Okay.
they did. Just walked through the crowd, playing their song, stopped did a little routine, moved a few more feet down the line, stopped, did a little routine. I mean, it was a homecoming, spring coming type atmosphere, Brian. This is before you even get comfortable in the press box.
Yeah.
So, getting the chance to go down on the field and just looking up at the stands at how huge that place is, and you can see all the players looking like, wow, I'm getting ready to play here in this facility. So,
Mm-hmm.
talking to some of the players, we thought they were excited for the Tyson Foods World Series. Nah, they were excited for this also. Those who were happy to play in both. So this was an experience for them. And then calling the game, uh, just try to keep it up with the game, watching these kids give their all, doing there were professional scouts there in the stands. There were some players who were going on to play in other leagues, who missed time with other leagues just to come play in the All-Star game. Think about that, Brian. I'm going to go
Yeah.
play in another league, but can I report 3 days late so I can play in this league, so I can be an All-Star?
Yeah.
That's how much this meant to these HBCU players.
That's what's up. That's good. That's good. Well, I got a chance to hear a little bit of the call. You and Jamie Walker, you guys sounded good. Low scoring game, 6-2. So yeah, you had a little bit of you had some runs, but it wasn't ridiculous. Obviously, with so many all-star pitchers, everyone's probably pitching
One
one
inning.
inning. Yeah.
Each
So
team had one person had to go to.
okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that was usually the starter. That was probably your starter.
Don't ask me those questions right now.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Any home runs or what was any home runs? Any home runs? No home
No,
runs?
no home runs. Saw a couple outfield assists.
Okay.
Outfield assists via relay. Had two people got thrown out. Yeah, one and a third, if I do remember correctly. Saw obviously a couple of great defensive plays there. Saw a textbook hit and run play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the score sheet in front of me. Runner on first, runner broke for second. Second baseman with the cover. Where does the ball get hit? Right where the second baseman used to be standing at. Perfect hit and run. Into right field. So
Any
things like
squeeze
that.
plays?
No, no,
Any squeeze
Team,
plays? No squeeze plays?
no squeeze plays. Team Grissom was
Nobody
aggressive.
stole home?
No, nobody stole home. Although you had a couple people try to take some extra bases when they shouldn't have. Yeah, Team
I'm
Grissom
sure.
was
I'm
very
sure.
aggressive on the base paths, which is a reflection of how he played.
And, well, hold on. I
Uh,
was going to say, and go back to who you had. Team Grissom, which was named for Marquise Grissom.
Correct.
And who was the other team?
Team Freeman for Marvin Freeman.
Okay. Now, I know Marquise
Uh,
Grissom, of course, a FAMU grad. Where did Marvin Freeman go to school?
Jackson State.
Okay, Jackson State. Okay.
Right. Three
All
of the
right.
four coaches were HBCU graduates. So the
Okay.
two assistants, and the fourth coach was and if you give me a second, I will pull up my information. Let's see. Luke
Well, I
Collier.
do.
Luke Collier, who was drafted out of high school, out of Chicago Vocational High School, was the assistant coach on Team Freeman. And on Team Grissom, Lenny Webster, who played for the Montreal Expos, is a Gremlinite.
Okay. Nice, nice. Any talk on where the third annual All-Star game will be?
I don't think they've caught their breath from the second one yet, Brian.
Okay. Got to have those things in order. We got to know. We got to be excited about next year. It kind of worked out too that the Braves were out of town, so I think that's also a big factor. And I gotta imagine having somebody like Marquise Grissom, who I think he lives in the Atlanta area, and I think he probably has some connections with the Braves organization as well. But I think the Braves, and Hollins does too. Coach Hollins does.
Yes. And I believe, let's see. Speaking of Braves, let's see, Luke. No, Marvin also played with the Braves. Marvin Freeman
Okay.
played with the Braves from '90 to '93. He played for
Okay.
14, but he played with the Braves from '90 to '93. Luke Collier,
Okay.
most notably with the Phillies, and Lenny
All right.
Webster, like I said,
Well,
most notably with the Expos.
yeah, yeah. Well, congrats to everybody, MVP, who helped put that together. Shout out to the BCSN staff; did a good job on broadcasting that event. Hey, we did mention, Drew, that when we came back from the last break, that the NCAA Track and Field Nationals in Eugene, Oregon, beginning the middle of the week, June 8th through the 11th. And I'm not going to go through all of the names. I know there are more men participating in events than women. I believe, there's a full listing here. Maybe we can publish this list or somehow get it out. But, I just kind of did an aggregate of kind of seeing where everyone is in terms of the number of events. I counted 9 different men's events, including a pair of relays. The A&T relay team is participating in the 4x100 and the 4x4, which they are not only the defending champs, but they have had the fastest time this year in the 4x4 with a time of 3:01.59. But then you also have, and of course, the 400-meter dash defending champion Randolph Ross, who's also the fastest time holder. A&T has, by my count, 11 men, 3 women participating in nationals.
And
The
Ross
only
is in
other
3 events.
Right, Ross is in 3 events. He's running the
400, the 4x1, the 4x4.
Right, yeah, okay, good call. The other 2 athletes for the men are from Coppin State and Prairie View A&M. Joseph Manu from Coppin State is running in the 100 and the 200. So he A&T actually has Javante. You mentioned 3
Harding's
events.
running
Actually,
3 also.
Yeah, I was
He's
just
in
going to
3
say
also.
Javante Harding, who's a sophomore. He's running in the 100, the 200, and the 4x1.
4x1.
Right. So he's in 3 events. There's a couple of Aggies that are in the 400-meter hurdles. But just in total, what I say, 10, 14 men, 11 men, 3 women. Prairie View A&M also has a young man, Nathan Crawford Wallace, who is in the triple jump. And so he is the 3rd male, or he represents the 3rd school, I guess is a better way of saying it. Over on the women's side, of course, you got A&T. Howard actually has 4 women. They're primarily make up their 4x400 meter relay team, but you also have one of those members off that team, Jessica Wright, who's running in the 400 meter hurdles. And then you have a young lady running in the 200 meter dash. So that's the 4 from Howard. And then there are 3 women from A&T. And then, of course, FAMU has a young man, Rachel Robertson, who's in the triple jump. I'm surprised, Drew, that no distance runners. I guess our HBCUs aren't really recruiting from our roots in Africa and bringing home any of these fabulous African distance runners to our HBCUs, because none of them are, we don't have any HBCUs in the distance events. I was going through the list and I don't see any of them in the distance. What up with that? That's crazy.
It is what it is.
Yep. Is what it is. All right. Coming up on another break. Let's take a quick 2-minute break. Come back with our final segment here on the BCSN SportsWrap. Just want to let you know, we are actually also on Cash App. So, hey, you want to drop?
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food?
Well, all right. Well, we'll cancel that. Let's end the commercial. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap. We'll be back in just a moment.
Like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell them mama hungry.
I'm returning to Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being heard.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em! It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm. Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. We're never not working. Number 15?
That's my rub.
Ooh, nice.
Never not working.
Never, ever, never, ever not working.
Welcome everybody to Juneau, Alaska.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders scalp shield technology.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
Q Time is our classic Atlanta soul.
Okay, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan and AD here. AD, are you there? Because I don't know if I can hear you or you can hear me.
I hear you loud and clear.
Beautiful, beautiful thing. Hey, want to remind or let you know that you can find the Black College Sports Network on Cash App. That's my JBN, my BCSN. Of course, you got to put the little dollar sign there. But if you want to drop us a cup of coffee in support of the Black College Sports Network, you can do that anytime, day, night. You know, whether it be $1, 99 cents, $2.50, $4.99, whatever you want to do to support what we are doing, support Black media, any of our shows, whether it be our show, the Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, the ONG, Carlos Brown. I know, it's funny, all of those shows, we all have our different support vehicles, but it really, I just want to take a second and say thank you, because there's a lot, there's a lot of places you could go to listen and hear different commentary about things. And so your support of what we're doing at the Black College Sports Network means a lot. And we continue to try to get better every year. Coming up on another year here at the end of June, getting ready to start the 22-23 year. This is it's a labor of love, and it just keeps getting better and better every year. So we keep taking steps forward. So we do that with you. And so I just wanted to take a second to say thank you. Okay. Where was I going to go here, Drew, before I got sidetracked?
I have no idea.
Okay. Let's talk football for a second. Nothing gets people fired up like football. We're probably under 100 days from I told you what, I'm not going to do that.
85 days.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I know when week 0 is. I know when Labor Day is. That's it. That's all I care about. I know when SWAC Media Day is. I know when the other media day. Well, actually, I don't know when the other media days. Has anybody else dropped the dates on their media days yet?
Not to my knowledge, but it would be nice so I could go ahead and get my plane tickets if I need them to get to some of these media days.
Hey, I'll tell you, which media day are you most looking forward to? Because I think there's some interesting things happening that could be happening in some of these media days. Whose media day are you most looking forward to? Just one.
Ooh. Of the 4?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, let me think. Obviously, you've got you've got the SWAC and everything that's going on with the SWAC with pretty much a whole new brand new
I didn't
Western
ask you to
Division.
give me the breakdown. Give me
I'm
one.
trying to break it down. SIAC West, all new coaches. CIAA can Fayetteville State finally get over the hump since Bowie State lost their head coach and Damon Wilson.
Yeah.
And the MEAC with South Carolina State had a subpar season, except they won the big game.
Season.
Yeah,
right.
subpar regular season, except they won the big game. Whew. Out of the 4. Wow, Brian.
Can I find my Jeopardy music here?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go chalk. I'm gonna go SWAC 1, SIAC 2.
Oh my gosh! Come on, that's so chalk. That's chalk.
It's chalk.
I'm actually going to SIAC. I mean, I don't think you're going to tell me anything new in the SWAC that I don't already know.
I'm really interested in the West.
Yeah.
5 of the 6. You got every team in the West except one has a new coach quarterback combo. Everybody except Texas Southern has a new coach quarterback combo.
Right. Good point. Good point. That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
That's what makes the West interesting. SIAC West. Everyone in the SIAC West has a new head coach.
Well, hold on. Here's why the SIAC is interesting. What is the divisions going to look like? That's the big question. Is there going to be and you have the commissioner
and a new commissioner coming?
Right. Who was it? Moore who left?
Monroe. Moore stepped down.
Moore steps down. Moore. I don't know why I said Monroe, but I'm thinking Greg Monroe. Moore steps down from his position as the SIAC commissioner. So what is the SIAC structure looking like there? And then, of course, you've got...
Can I answer that before you move on?
Quickly.
Morehouse is moving. The question to everyone wants to know is
wait a minute. How do you know Morehouse is moving? Is that what you've heard something?
Yes. Morehouse is going to the West. Is Clark also going to the West? That's the question.
What does that do about? So that means Edward Waters comes in on the East. Allen University comes in on the East.
Yes.
So that's 6. So what is it?
It's going to be 7. It's going to be 7-6. The question is, which side is odd?
I got you.
Whether the East is the odd side or the West is the odd side. It traditionally has been the East because of Morehouse. Wherever Morehouse goes, that's going to be the odd side, usually.
Okay, but here, ask yourself this question: the rivalry with I don't know if it's a rivalry, but let's just say the Clark Morehouse thing, which happens at the end of the season. If that has to happen, you're taking that West.
Look, the Morehouse Tuskegee rivalry is more important for the SIC to preserve than a Clark Morehouse rivalry.
Well, that becomes a Western Division game now.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I think all the more reason
that's why Morehouse goes.
Yeah.
The question is, do you take Clark?
I think you take Clark. I think you make 7 in the West. I don't know why you wouldn't take Clark. I don't know why you wouldn't let Clark go over to the West.
All right. Which means which means you would have 3 Georgia schools. You had 3 Georgia schools, 2 South Carolina schools, and a Florida school in the East.
No.
Yes. And then 2 additional Georgia schools.
One Georgia school. The
East would have 3. three Georgia schools: Albany State, Fort Valley, Savannah State. Two
Oh,
South
hell. Yeah.
Carolina schools.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
The two schools in Columbia, South Carolina, which will be married to the hip.
Right.
And
then
then Evan Waters. And then Evan Waters in
Jackson.
Jacksonville. That would be the East.
Yeah.
And then the West would
you have
have
to
the
leave
other
that.
two Georgia schools. The other two Georgia schools.
Northern
Kentucky,
Georgia.
Ohio, Tennessee, and Alabama.
You got it. Okay, so we've solved it for you. We've solved it for the SIC. There it is. 7 in the West, 6 in the East. That's how you have to do it. And anything else looks ridiculous. And I'll say that that's what it is. There it is. So that's what I'm interested in.
Here's the SIAC question. When it comes down to it, for basketball, do you move Clark and or Morehouse back to the East? Because your two schools who don't play football are in the West: LeMoyne-Owen and Spring Hill. That's going to be the one I'm interested in. What do you do with basketball and every other sport?
All right, but where are those schools? In LeMoyne-Owen, somewhere in Tennessee?
Memphis. No, they're going to be in the West. They're going to be in the West. Lemoyne and Spring Hill will be in the West. The question is, do you move Clark and Morehouse back to the East?
I got you.
For basketball.
Yeah. Ooh, interesting decisions ahead. That's why I want to see the SIC. Give me something new. All right, so two of the bigger news stories that came out have to do with football coaches, as we just talked about. Which conference has our interest as it relates to media day? But you've got the announcement that came out. I don't know which happened first, but I think the Damon Wilson move to Morgan State from Bowie State happened. Really, what's so funny is that happened after we had just talked about it. I think we mentioned it. I don't know where we were when we mentioned it. We may have been talking offline where we talked about Damon Wilson leaving Morgan, and we were like, nah, there's no way he would leave Bowie State for Morgan. Yeah, there's no way he'd leave Bowie for Morgan. And sure enough, what did he do? Bam, he up and leaves for Morgan State. There really hasn't been the introductory press conference. That will happen on Friday, I believe.
Yes.
June 10th, 10 o'clock in the morning. So that'll be Friday. But that has not stopped the sort of buzzing surrounding Coach Wilson, who not only do you have Bowie State players jumping in the portal like they jumping off a sinking ship. I've seen at least about half a dozen Bowie State players in the portal, and there may be more. I don't know. How far away is Bowie from Morgan?
45 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. So
they put it to you like this. Remember, Brian, if you go back 3 years ago, it's close enough where I did the DC, Baltimore, Bowie trek all in the same day.
Yes, that's right. I remember that.
I went to all 3 football games.
Yeah. So some of the conversation last week, Coach Wilson on a podcast with Mark Gray on HBCU Sports Nation's podcast had some interesting quotes. Obviously he's taken over for Tyrone Wheatley, who in the 2 seasons that he was there, that team went 5-18 overall, 3-10 in the MEAC. And of course, we paid attention to the track that Bowie State was on under Coach Wilson, to the point where they got to the regional finals,
Yes.
Final Four, something like that.
They got to the regional finals one year.
Regional finals.
They got to the regional finals, and they've made the regionals 3 consecutive years, and they picked up a win this year in the regionals.
Yeah, he had pretty much turned Bowie into a power that really many people thought. Look, I was one of those people that
They
picked Bowie
forgot
to
Bowie
be.
was a basketball school.
Yeah, exactly. He really changed that program around. But a couple of comments or a couple of quotes have people kind of scratching their head about what is the future for Morgan. I mean, look, we know there's been the rumblings about the MEAC and who is and who isn't staying or might stay, and we know that the MEAC says they're all together. But I thought it interesting, Drew, that in talking to Mark Gray, Wilson says, quote, "I'm not trying to just win a Celebration Bowl. I want to win a national championship. In order to do that, you must be a PWI school at your level. So from an FCS standpoint, you must beat those universities to have a shot. Morgan State Morgan State would always be an HBCU, is an academic institution. However, if the football and athletic program moves to a different conference, then we would just have to play football in that conference." So, toss some more coal on the fire pit, Drew, as the fire was starting to simmer down. And what do you think? Is Coach just talking? Do you think he's been tipped off to something? When you hear those comments, how do you read that?
Wishful thinking. I don't think Morgan is in the position. And let's ask the better question, Brian. Does anyone else want Morgan? We know they want Howard. We know they want Norfolk. Do they want Morgan? That is the question.
Yeah, it is. Good question. Good question. I think it'll be interesting to see what the comparable athletic budgets are. Like, I know more. I got to go back and look at. Maybe we'll talk about that later. One of the things that you and I talked about doing is doing these things that we call summer shorts to kind of talk about maybe a topic or two in a short, abbreviated time span, more on a daily basis. Maybe that's something we can look into later this week, is look at the comparable athletic budgets of Bowie and Morgan. They shouldn't be comparable, right? You wouldn't think.
And they should be easy to find because they're public institutions.
Right. So maybe they are. It'll be interesting to see what is Morgan State working with. I think that there's some tradition there, which a lot of people aren't aware of when it comes to Morgan State, but I think they got the right guy. I think this is probably one of the more shocking hires this year.
Can I throw something? When's the last time we've seen a coach go from D2 to FCS? It's been a while, Brian.
It has been a while. Yes, it has. Yeah, it's a good transition. I mean, I think that speaks to where he built Bowie. I don't think many people – I mean, look, Bowie has won the Black College National Champion at that level the last 3 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct.
You want how about Billy Joe? Billy Joe going from Central State to FAMU.
NAIA at that time.
Yeah. How about Hall of Fame coach? From Virginia Union to Hampton, Joe Taylor.
But look how long ago that was, though.
Yeah, you're talking more recently within the past.
Within the last 10 years?
15. Yeah.
It's unprecedented.
Yeah. But I think that speaks volumes on where people
without making a stop as a assistant, it's unprecedented in today's times.
Yeah, well, I think this will be an interesting press conference on Friday, and that's happening Friday. The Damon Wilson introductory presser for Morgan State going down on June 10th. Another football coach that is sort of making a move and sort of not. I thought this too was a surprise. I don't even think it's been 3 months, but Reginald Ruffin at Tuskegee has said that this is his last year as a head coach. I think he's going to focus strictly on being an athletic director. They've named Aaron James the next head coach. So it really is an opportunity for Ruffin to sort of really set the table for James and not only the program. You as a Tuskegee guy with boots on the ground, people in the know, what are your thoughts on Ruffin's decision? Just in general, I was a little surprised by it, but I think it's a good move for
him. Worst kept secret, Brian. Those in the know at Tuskegee knew this was coming. Honestly, back when they were doing the coaching search, most of us thought Aaron James was going to be named the head coach back in December. We were all shocked when Reginald Ruffin was named athletic director and then named himself to be the head coach. Then the next thing was, okay, that leaves Aaron James out. And Aaron James is a Tuskegee graduate. Let's put that out there. So he's coming home to Tuskegee. He has coached at Tuskegee University also. And I believe they were both assistants under Coach Slater at Tuskegee. Was James under Comegy? James may have been under Comegy.
James played under Comegy from 98 to 01.
Right, I'm trying to remember if he coached under Comegy though. Is what I'm trying to.
He was at Miles. He was at Miles with Ruffin.
Okay, before he went to Bethune.
Correct.
Because he came from Bethune to Tuskegee. So, but yeah, we all do. We knew this was coming. Common knowledge within the family, as they like to say. So
I love the way you said that. One of the worst kept secrets.
Well, it was common knowledge in the fam. So
yeah, if you knew, you knew. If you weren't in the family,
exactly.
then you didn't know.
Exactly. But it was not my job to repeat it. Put it to you like that.
I gotcha. I noticed the drawings or some of the. I took a look at the new football field house. Is that what they're calling that?
Yes.
I know they tore down. I know I saw pictures of some shed they got tore down. I don't know what that was.
Right. Don't get me started. Let me put it to you like this, Brian. That was a temporary structure anyway. That temporary structure has been around for 25 years. That's all I'm gonna say.
And they said we got to move this thing. Let's go ahead and send some pictures out. Let's take some. Hey, big things happening at Tuskegee. Let's take.
I just hope they got something done by August. That's all I'm gonna say. Second week of September.
Will fans be back in the audience in the stands at Tuskegee in August, September?
According to Coach Reginald Ruffin, there's no way in hell he playing without fans.
Quote unquote, huh?
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing that.
All right. Hey, just want to remind everybody again, make sure to look out for AD and I's summer shorts, which a new little segment that will be. I'm not literally saying they won't be on a hanger anywhere, so you won't be able to grab them and take them off. But anyway, it's a new thing we're gonna try to just bring some content on a daily basis. Try to have a little fun. We've got some fun stories, man. I don't know.
You want to give a hint about that first topic?
Some of them are kind of serious. That's all I can say. Some of them are kind of serious. They need to be talked about, but we will try to have some fun with it. Hopefully we won't get in trouble.
All I'm going to say is Norfolk State, you on the clock.
Yeah. That's all I'm going to say. So Norfolk State, but we got some other stuff that we'll get to. So every day we'll kind of talk about something new and drop it out there. A lot shorter than our normal 2 hours of ranting and sharing news, facts, and information that we do in this long form version. So hopefully you guys like it. Maybe every now and then we'll bring in a guest. One final note, Drew, as we close, the College Football Hall of Fame ballot for 2023 came out. Now, they have two different divisions for the FBS schools, and they have the divisional level, which would be your 2s, 3s, FCS level schools. And I was browsing through trying to find various players and coaches from the HBCU levels that are on the ballot. And it just so happened that Mississippi Valley State has 4 players on the players list. Ashley Ambrose from the early 90s, Vincent Brown from the late 80s, Parnell Dickinson from the mid 70s, and Bob Gaddis also from the mid 70s. So that they have 4 guys. You also had William Dillon of Virginia Union from the early 80s, Timmy Newsome from Winston-Salem State in the late 70s, Tyrone Poole from Fort Valley State. He played in the early 90s, early mid-90s at Fort Valley. And he, of course, had an NFL career that was pretty good. So he made that list. So I think that's a total of 7 players. And then a couple of coaches. How about Eddie Hurt? And, if you ever read my article about HBCU dynasties, which I, along with, had the pleasure of working with Dr. Cavill on that, just kind of looking at the legacy of coaching of championships by coaches. I mean, obviously, today we live in this era of Nick Saban as the GOAT of GOATs, but we wanted to bring out various names who were actually GOATs in their own right before Nick Saban. And one of those names was Eddie Hurt of Morgan State. He was the coach at Morgan State from 1930 to 1959, almost 30 years. He led Morgan State to 6 Black College National Championships and 14 CIAA titles. He had 11 undefeated seasons, including the 1943 team that did not allow a score from a single opponent. Let me repeat that. The 1943 team did not allow a score from a single opponent. There was even a 54-game streak without a loss from 32 to 39. So, I mean, we talk about legacies and just the dynasty. That is what Coach Wilson is going to try to rebuild and remind people of. And so it kind of works as great timing. I hope Coach Wilson is able to incorporate the Hurt family or mention Eddie Hurt in his introductory press conference, because that's what he's walking in standing on. Another name of HBCU coaching fame, Gideon Smith from Hampton, 1921 to 1940. He led the Pirates to the 1922, 100 years ago, Drew, the Black College National Championship. He recorded 4 CIAA titles, 2 unbeaten seasons in his career. He is still the longest tenured coach in Hampton history, which is interesting, boasting the second most wins all time at the school. I would guess that's probably behind Joe Taylor, who might have the most wins at Hampton. But he still is the longest tenured coach. So that just released from the College Football Hall of Fame. So I just wanted to mention that in, Drew, before we get out of here. Any last word or anything you want to mention before we go?
No, Brian, it's time for us to pick up this show and get up out of here, man.
All right, so be looking for sometime Wednesday morning because we'll do sometime Tuesday. Be looking for Wednesday morning, the start of our summer shorts, the BCSN SportsWrap summer shorts. AD and I, maybe a guest or two here and there, but that should be fun. You can always support the show by going to myjbn.com/support, or you can go to our new Cash App, which is just Cash App symbol, the $, myjbn, my BCSN. Just like how you can find us when you go to the Google or Apple Play Store and download the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at MyBCSN1, the number 1. And then go rate us when you check out the podcast on the BCSN Pod Zone. Make sure that you have, liked, rated. Give us a nice rating if you would, 5 stars. And go check out all of the shows that are part of the BCSN Pod Zone. So rate, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. So that's going to do it for tonight's show. Thank you to everybody for watching, listening.
Shout out to Bell for hanging in there on the behind the keyboard.
Shout out to super producer Mel. We love you, appreciate you, and and you guys, we thank you for watching and listening to the Sports Wrap. Tomorrow night, Dr. Gaville's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab comes on 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, right here on the Black College Sports Network. For AD Drew, I'm Brian Fulford. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Be smart. Peace out.
I'll holla.
But stay hard.